Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, everybody. This is the Slider Review. I'm here today to talk to you about Wednesday Season 1. So this show came out on Netflix in 2022. It is 2024 and I am just now watching this show. And the reason for it, if any of y'all have ever paid attention to my channel, then you know I don't do Netflix. I don't like them. They pissed me off many years ago. And so I just don't do Netflix. So I refused to sign up for them and everything. I almost became tempted because I wanted to watch this series, but I held my guns and everything. I'm not going to do it. And so my cousin has Netflix. And so normally when I want to watch something on Netflix, I'll just go over there. But since she has like 3 young kids that are just like bouncing off the walls, I tend not to. But I decided to watch the first episode, but I couldn't take the torture of the kids. But that first episode impressed me so much that I said, screw it. I found out it was on DVD and I bought it. Yeah, it was like 20 something dollars, but I'm like, whatever. Like every once in a while, you just have to indulge. Normally, I don't spend $20 on a DVD, especially if the episodes are only 8. The only time I ever done that was the first season of The Walking Dead. And I had to do it for Salem Season 1 and some other witch show because for some bizarre reason, these shows have been canceled for over a decade, and yet they're still close to $30 on DVD for some bizarre reason. And so, I'm like, whatever. I used to take chances back when I was in college with DVDs without seeing them first. So I took a chance on Wednesday, and thank God I love this series. I was hoping I would love this series because when this was first announced, I was just so happy talking about it. What to expect, this and that, how happy I was for Jenna Ortega and everything, because I'm a huge fan of hers from when I first saw her in that Disney Channel show. So I was really hoping that this would be a great show. And I kept hearing so many good things about this show, but I was tempted to watch a spoiler review, but I didn't. So I've just been wondering, what the heck is this show gonna be about for 2 years and everything? And so, yeah, I knew it was gonna deal with her having some type of power and her solving crimes. I remember when I first heard that, I'm like, magic powers and her solving mysteries. I don't know if that's gonna work because this is the Addams family, for crying out loud. They're always depicted a certain way. They're just a family that love each other and like to torture each other and don't like colorful stuff. So I was really skeptical and everything, and but thankfully, they made it work in a really interesting way. Now, granted, it was strange seeing Wednesday out in broad daylight of all things because I'm not so used to seeing her like that. I'm used to the Addams family, them always being in their house, having everything dark and goth and everything. So this was a slight departure from it. And, I've been a fan of the Addams family ever since that 90s movie with Christina Ricci and everything. I became a huge Wednesday fan because of her. And I've watched pretty much every other Addams family since then. I've never seen the original television show. Never. I've watched one episode of the 70s cartoon, and I used to watch the 90s cartoon that came out on ABC on Saturday mornings and everything. And I remember that Wednesday in the cartoon was different than the one in the movie. She was way more sarcastic in a more of a Yakko Animaniacs kind of way. And so, but then also after the Addams Family movie, I never saw the third movie that was on VHS. I tried to watch it, I just couldn't. And I also watched the new Addams Family, which I reviewed, go watch that many years ago, because that was on ABC Family and stuff, or Fox Family, one of those two, whichever one had the rights to that network at that time. And so, I've always been a fan of the Addams Family. And I watched the CGI movies and stuff. So I was really pumped for this. Granted, I was sad that it wasn't going to depict the entire Addams family. I mean, that's what really I just wanted. But then again, I'm like, okay, look, I can either have the Addams Family or I can have a Wednesday show with Wednesday being my favorite character and Jenna Ortega I'm being a huge fan of and everything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm winning either way and stuff. So the Addams Family, of course, was created by Charles Addams, and back then, the Addams Family didn't even have a last name. In fact, I think Wednesday was the only character who actually had a name. And then so years later, they had to give them names for whenever they had like animated shows and television shows and this and that. And it also kind of changed their background a little bit from what Charles had. Morticia had the name Fump. And ironically, Grandmama and Uncle Fester are actually related to Morticia from like the old comics and stuff like that. And Gomez is not. But then, of course, when the movie came out, they decided to change that and have everybody related to that of Gomez and Morticia being like the outsider and stuff. Not quite sure why they did that, but they did. They also, every version you get kind of changes their background. Whenever people think of the Addams Family, people always assume that, you know, they're just like a white family, because mainly they're always been portrayed by like a white family and stuff. But Gomez is actually Castilian, which is a Spanish-speaking country and stuff. And so he's always been depicted as either Hispanic or like Italian. You can't never really tell when you watch like shows and movies, but he's always been depicted that way. Now, this is where things get a little bit more confusing. Morticia in her background. Sometimes she is depicted as Castilian, being Hispanic, and then other times she is depicted as being white from Boston, Massachusetts, depending on whoever's creating the cartoon or show or movie or whatever. So, originally, I did have problems with Catherine Zeta-Jones, yet again, playing another Hispanic character, because this series decided to make them their Latino roots, because when they cast Jenna Ortega. And, of course, Catherine is white, even though she tends to play a lot of Hispanic characters. But, you know what, since they didn't go into her background, and since Morticia is sometimes depicted as Latina, sometimes depicted as white, I'll give that a pass and everything. Plus, she did an amazing job as Morticia and everything. So the thing is with Catherine Zeta-Jones, I've always been a fan of hers, but I just don't like it when she constantly plays Latinas and feels like she has the right to do it. That's my only gripe with her and everything. But other than that, I've always been like a huge fan of like her work. And she brought such gravitas to that role. And I love the way the family is depicted in this. And I'll get into that a little bit later. And so, yeah. And once again, they didn't depict her background, so we're not really sure what exactly Morticia is. Now, if Catherine is playing a Latino woman, I got a problem with that. But if she's playing the white version of Morticia, then that's fine. But, you know, Jenna, I believe, is Mexican and Puerto Rican. And I forget what Guzman is. I think he might be Puerto Rican too. So, yeah, but they clearly went with a more Latino family this time. So it is kind of odd that Catherine is one of the only white people there. The other family member, who I'm gonna assume is this version, is Gomez's brother, is Uncle Fester, because they said, Fester said that, you know, he is Gomez's brother. So technically, they messed the race up with that one, because the actor who plays Uncle Fester is actually Jewish and I believe Asian, but I know he's Jewish for sure. And so I don't understand why they would cast somebody who's not the same race as like the actor who plays like, you know, Wednesday and that of Gomez. However, he did a really good job too. I just wish he was bigger. I'm not used to having a slim Uncle Fester. I mean, even back in the movie, they put like a big bodysuit on him to make him look bigger and stuff. And I wish they would have done that here. Also, I'm not sure why he's a bank robber in this version. I need to research him because I've never known him to be a bank robber. But then again, they probably changed that depending on which movie and cartoon and television show you see. So this show was actually created by the Smallville duo of Alfred um, Ga and then Miller. And so those two dudes, they're best known for like Smallville. And people always assume that it's actually Tim Burton who made this, but it's not. And so they wanted to have this version of the Addams Family depicted differently than depicted before. So this is why it centers around Wednesday. This is why she's at Nevermore. This is why she don't wear her traditional like dress, which kind of disappointed me a little bit and stuff, because she only wore it for like the first episode for a couple of minutes, and that's basically it. But at least they kept her whole black on white ensemble when they did like her uniforms. Although it was weird seeing her in pants, and in a jacket. I'm just not used to seeing that. But yeah. So the legend himself, Tim Burton, he's actually an executive producer, and they wanted him to direct the first 4 episodes. And also his style is also heavily influenced into the show. Because like I said before, executive producers, they put in money and they're allowed to put in input. So this is actually really good for him because he was supposed to direct 2 different Addams Family movies in the past. He was supposed to direct the Addams Family Value, but Batman Returns got in the way of that. No. I think it was the first Addams Family. The very first one, not the second one. The very first Addams Family, but Batman Returns got in the way. Then, when Illumination and Universal owned the rights of the Addams Family, they wanted him, and he wanted stop motion like he did stuff in the past. But they wanted to go the CGI animated route, and he said nope, and he left. Odd, because he's known for using CGI, at least nowadays and stuff. That's not stop motion. But now Illumination and Universal no longer has the rights because the creators bought the rights to it. And MGM is the one who makes this and puts it out on that of Netflix. I wish to God it was on the MGM app. Sometimes I do that, and I would prefer to do that than that of the Wednesday show, because I don't like Netflix and stuff. This show was a juggernaut, and I mean a juggernaut. It had high ratings for like weeks at #1 spot, and it was even more highly rated than that of Stranger Things season 4. And this show has won multiple awards, been nominated multiple times. Jenna Ortega, my God, she is literally just like phenomenal in this movie. She is the star. And I'm so happy for her. 'Cause I still remember when I saw her on Stuck in the Middle on Disney Channel. And the only reason why I watched that is because the actress who played her mom used to be in Power Rangers, and I wanted to see her mom in something new. So I didn't know who Jenna Ortega was. I didn't know who any of the other cast was, but now I do. And Jenna was always amazing on Stuck in the Middle, but here, I remember I saw her in Scream. I was so happy for her in that as well, in the 5th and 6th movie, because she did a really good job in the 5th. And so, like, when I heard she was gonna be cast as like Wednesday Addams, I'm like, oh my God. And she, not only was she phenomenal, but like, she's such a headstrong person because like, it's weird. She, like I said before, she is right now the it girl of Hollywood. She's been starring in tons of movies. And because of that, she didn't want to go back to television and stuff. But she later changed her mind, and it's a good thing she did. Because, like, right now, I just can't see nobody else playing this role as good as she did. And I remember when, after she did this show, see, here's my thing. like I said before, she's the it girl now, but it girl status never lasts too long. Once you have a couple of movie flops, that's it. Then you're gonna end up like Jennifer Lawrence and everything. And a lot of her movies do extremely well, but the Miller Girl movie, a lot of people don't like that. And she's had 2 flops recently. So she really needs to pick her roles better. And also, she might not want to spill so much details about working on projects because she's starting to get that reputation of being a diva and a reputation of being difficult and everything. And plus, when you throw politics into play and depending on what side you are on the war and everything, you know, a lot of people are going to fall out of favor with her. And so she kind of ruffled a little feathers online because it's weird. Like after doing this show, after it being so phenomenal, after she's been praised, her performance, her dance that she created for like the show and everything, she doesn't seem to have had a fun time filming this, and she lets it known in interviews and online. And that is now giving her that reputation of being difficult or spoiled or not being grateful and this and that. Now, I understand some of the things as to why it might have been difficult for her to work on that because, like, okay, she had to take cold showers every day. So did the rest of the cast because the hot boiler broke and everything. Like seriously, they couldn't fix it. Like really, they couldn't fix it to get on people hot showers and stuff. But yeah, she had to take a cold shower every day, and that sucks. You know what I'm saying? Because as somebody who's been through like, you know, hurricanes and stuff, you know what it's like when your electricity is off and stuff. Them cold showers don't feel good. Also, she didn't have time to prep her lines all the time because of other stuff. I forget, something got in the way. And it's like, crap, dude. Like, she didn't have time to prep. Like, she did a great job and everything. She also learned how to fence. She learned how to play the cello. Something else she had to learn for this role and everything. And you know, fencing and cello practice, that's not easy and stuff. And like I said before, she came up with that dance on her own. But then here's the thing, that dance blew up on the internet. It is phenomenal. But the problem is, she kind of doesn't like getting the hype for that because some of that she came up with herself and others she came up with inspiration from watching older music videos and stuff. And some of the dance moves she took from that, and also the dance move from the original Wednesday Addams from the old black and white show. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's like, it's the hype of it and how it became like a phenomenon and everybody's doing it on the internet. She kind of seems like she regrets coming up with that dance and everything because everybody won't stop talking about it. And it's just kind of like, dude, this is your moment right here. Take it for how long you have it, because at some point in time, you could disappear from Hollywood because, you know, you're right now, you're the it girl. And it's just kind of like, you know, that's not going to last forever. You know what I'm saying? So just be grateful that like so many people love it so much. Maybe it's like, maybe she's, I don't know if she's shy or what, because I don't know her like that. But it's just something, it's just like weird. It's like, dude, you're in your moment right now. Then she ruffled some feathers about the writing. Now, they wanted to make this show a love triangle, which they did. And it's kind of odd seeing Wednesday fall in love with people because you rarely see that happen. You saw it in the second Addams Family movie, and it also happened in the new Addams Family movie in one episode and one episode only. But it's like she said there were some lines in the show she didn't agree with because she felt like Wednesday would never have said that. And she said they tried to make her into a generic female teenager in a teen show, which of course the Smallville guys are known for doing drama in teen shows. So she took it upon herself to sneaky, by the way, she sneaked into like the room and changed the dialogue and everything. That's what I read online. And other stuff like she wanted to not say. She told like the creators, and they're like, no, we want you to say this, and she's like, well, I don't feel like doing it. And Tim Burton backed her and everything, and so those lines that was originally written, she did not say in the show, and everything she says in the show is like great. So I'm glad she stuck to her convictions and everything, because sometimes actors have to do that. You know what I'm saying? When you know what your character is supposed to be like and supposed to sound like, but then other people come in and write stuff and it's just kind of like, whoa, my character would never do that. So I love it when actors will stick up for it, but she needs to be careful. She got away with it this time. You're not always going to get away with it, especially if you have a director who's pissy, or a writer who's pissy, or a show creator who's pissy. Because like when she changed those like lines and stuff, people don't like for this stuff to be meddled with. And there was this one writer during the strike. This is back when they first had the writer strike before the actor strike. He said something about her online. He's all like, oh, since Jenna Ortega thinks she's a writer, why isn't she out here on the picket line, like, protesting and everything, since she's a writer now? I'm just kind of like, ooh, that was cold. Ooh, that was cold. And stuff. But she was out there for the actor strike, you know what I'm saying? But like I said before, people are gonna take umbrage with what she said, and stuff like that. Another thing that some people are calling kind of cold is that, okay, remember when I said the creators wanted this to be different from any other Addams Family adaptation? Well, she took it upon herself to not blink when playing Wednesday, which took a lot of strong will. She would break in between breaks, or when the other actors were rehearsing their lines. And I didn't even notice that. And that stare she gives, like, this is what I'm saying. She put herself in that role. She became a character actress, which is great and everything, because she understood that role and her version of it. Also, the prop people and the design people and the clothing people, they changed her hair so it wouldn't look like other Wednesday's hair. She still got the pigtails, but now they gave her bangs very thick. Sometimes they're very thick and they're all together. Other times they're scattered. I don't understand that. But anyway, they gave her bangs, which Wednesday's never had. And her pigtails kind of flare out more and they're thicker to give her a different appearance. Also, her white collar on her dress, when she's actually wearing her dress, not her uniform, but her dress, is a lot sharper and longer. It's really distinctive and everything. But she also took it upon herself not to act like none of the other Wednesdays in like the past, which is really hard to do because Christina Ricci redefined that role, like I said before. So she really kind of avoided Christina on set, not really taking no pointers or no inspiration, because she wanted this to be her own. And I totally understand that. Like, she really wanted this to be her own thing. But at that same time, it does make her sound a little cold and everything and stuff, But like, I get why she did that. But at that same time, if she wanted to give her advice, just take it, what I'm saying? Or just kindly be like, yo, I don't think Christina tried to give her pointers and everything. It was just reported that she just avoided her to make sure that didn't happen and stuff. The show is filmed in Romania, and for the longest time I couldn't figure out exactly why. Because when you look at all the locations and everything, they're pretty ordinary and nothing really stands out at all. And I was just kind of like, they could have filmed this in America or Canada or something, because all the locations are pretty basic. But I guess they filmed there because of the Nevermore Academy. It's a real life castle and everything. And so I guess they saw that, liked it so much, and be like, okay, let's film here. Because the locations aren't that many in the show. because this was filmed during COVID. In fact, during the dance sequence, Jenna Ortega came down with COVID and had to, like, be away from the rest of the cast and everything. And so I'm just kind of like, they could have found locations in America that looked exactly like the places that they filmed in Romania. Cause I'm not like digging the country and like that, like putting a diss on it and like that, but it just like there was nothing spectacular about the locations they was at. It was a coffee house, a sheriff station, the woods, a mortuary, what was the morgue and everything. What was it else? There was that one high school, I think I said before. Of course, the castle for the Nevermore place. And that's really about it. So, and a couple of houses, interior and stuff. So I don't know why they had to go way out there to film. But the Nevermore Castle, I mean, it looks nice and everything, but it's just kind of like we get to see some cool locations in it. Yeah, that's nice and everything. They could have built those. It's just kind of like, I don't get it. Is it cheap to film there or something? Now, the actor who plays Lurch, he's from Romania. Now, this version of Lurch doesn't say anything whatsoever, which is really odd. Now, is this show perfect? No, there are flaws within the show, with character development, storylines being rushed. Only 8 episodes, that's too short. You need more to flesh things out. And an ending that was completely rushed and made absolutely no sense at some point. It was almost like, oh crap, we're on the last episode. We gotta wrap everything up. So let's just rush everything and have like plot armor happen. And so, and of course, there's that weird like love triangle thing, which they said in season 2, it's gonna focus more on horror. But like, even though it has flaws, it is still a phenomenal show and a million times better than that of The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, a show I personally just can't stand. I don't understand how the man who made the Chilling Adventures show also wrote the comic, and the comic seems so much cooler than that of the show. How do you screw up your own comic? How do you screw up your own source material? I don't get that. But this show is kind of what I wanted the Sabrina show to be about. Like, I wanted, like, charismatic characters that I liked. Because the characters in Sabrina weren't all that, like, fascinating and stuff. Like, I like the different types of personalities. And it's so funny how they're reminiscent to each other. Because you have, Bianca reminds me so much of that, I can't remember her name, but that one black actress with the blonde hair from the school. They're both in school. Enid kind of looks like Sabrina a little bit, you know what I'm saying? She has that awkward best friend, the dopey boyfriend, what is it? Like, the eccentric like relatives and everything. They must have had that chilling show in mind when they created like, hey, we can do better than that. Also, the school Nevermore seems more interesting than like that school Sabrina went to. Even though we really don't get to see too much of Nevermore, like with the activities and stuff, but that's about it. And that's all right though, you know what I'm saying? But it's still a whole lot better than that show. Like, my God. Now, in terms of some of the flaws, it has to do with the cast. See, the show is a murder mystery and a monster mystery. You have to put those two together and everything, and it's a huge cast. And with this cast, you gotta figure out, hey, who is the monster and everything, right? But on top of that, see, here's my problem with the cast. When you make a show, you either gotta make the cast one way or another. You can either have an ensembled cast where everybody is like the main star, they get their own backstory, their own love interest, yada, yada, yada. or you focus the show on one character and you limit the development and backstory and stuff of the side characters. The side characters are there to give an assist to that of the main character, where you only see these side characters only if the main character is in the scene with them. It's rare you'll see them without the main character. This show tries to do both ways. It wants its cake and eat it too, which can get a bit not confusing, but a bit irritating because, like I said, there isn't that much character development with only 8 episodes and it focused primarily on Wednesday. These side characters do give assist to Wednesday, but they're mostly one-note characters and stuff. And that is frustrating, very frustrating, because when these characters do appear, they're all in the scene with that on Wednesday, except for a few of them, mostly Bianca and Enid. They have their own little side thing where they have their own little love interest. We get some backstory, we get their parents and stuff like that. And it just kind of throws it out of whack because it's like, okay, so are these two also like main characters like Wednesday? Are they gonna be their own little thing in the show? And it's like, apparently they don't need her in the scene and everything, but it's like you do need her in the scene. The show is literally called Wednesday, and she is the primary focus. They are literally there to give an assist to her, not do their own little thing on their own. And that's something I have a problem with. So they need to make up their mind. Are they going to have this focus all on Wednesday? Or is it going to focus all on Wednesday? But then every once in a while, another character does their own thing. And, making it like feel like an ensemble type thing. Because this is not an ensemble cast and everything. And it gets quite frustrating because sometimes these characters are barely in the show. And when they do have their love interest, it's like, where the heck did this come from? Are they going to build on the next season? Or is it going to get completely dropped? The stuff with their parents, are they going to build on that next season? Or is it going to get completely dropped? So I have a problem with them trying to have their cake and eat it too. Speaking of side characters and guest characters, the Addams Family is guest to this show. It is still weird not having the Addams Family front and center in this show, but like I said before, it's called Wednesday. Out of all the famous Addams Family characters, Grandmama and Cousin It do not appear whatsoever, but they are referenced in this show. Wednesday mentions her grandmama, and there's a portrait of It in that little secret society room, or it's his ancestor. Will they appear the next season? Who knows? Basically, there was no story for grandmama, and so that's why she just wasn't in the show. But she could at least showed up for like the family orientation day type thing. And when it comes to the family, apparently Fester, who only appeared in one episode randomly, might I add, which there was really no point for him like appearing. Like there really wasn't. Like there wasn't. They could have left him out the show. But it was cool that he was there. And apparently he might be getting his own spinoff show. That would be fine, but this Fester is completely different. He's a bank robber of all things. And Fester, even though he can do things on his own and have his own show, I would rather see a Addams Family spin-off family show, absent that of Wednesday, because she's in her own show. Now, when it when it comes to that of Gomez and that of Morticia, because Pugsley they always forget Pugsley. No matter what show or movie is in, he rarely gets any time to shine, except for the animated cartoons and movies. But, The parents, what's interesting is that they get their own special episode in here where the episode focused primarily on them and something that happened in the past when they went to Nevermore. And that entire subplot is pointless. And I mean, it's pointless. They could have just scrubbed that from the entire first season and it wouldn't have made a bit of difference. And they still could have revolved their story around that, what's that dude name? Is it Crackshore or something like that? Whatever his name, Crackstone or whatever. They could have still revolved it around him and the Gates without Morticia and Gomez. Now, here's the thing about the whole Morticia and Gomez storyline. That could have been the storyline for season 2. So why in the world did they waste it on season 1? Basically, that storyline is that when they went there as teenagers, they fell in love. Miss Weeps, she was in love with Gomez and everything. Miss Weeps holds grudges against that of Morticia. And we see it in the show, but it doesn't go nowhere. It's just her being angry and just like, argh. And when she see Gomez after all these years, it's like nothing. She doesn't even really acknowledge it's him and everything. The dude who she madly had a crush on. So that whole storyline is pointless and could have been in season 2. Furthermore, there was a guy who was in love with Morticia. Supposedly, his name was something Gates. And so, like, he tried to fight that of Gomez. But it turns out that he was there for a different reason. See, he's a normie, a normal human. He hates outcasts, people with powers. So he went there to kill both of them. And so, like, it was assumed that Gomez killed him. And so because of that, the sheriff, who is Tyler's father, I forget that dude's name, Gallpin or something like that. And so he just hates Gomez because of that reason. He doesn't hate him for no other reason. He's just a cop who doesn't like bad guys. And Gomez got away with murder. But it turns out it was actually Morticia that stabbed him with the sword. And Gomez just took the fall. But then it turns out he was actually poisoned. And he died from that and not from the stabbing. So because of that, there's a plot that where Gomez gets arrested and he's in jail, and Wednesday and her mother have to like free Gomez, and that's what they do. And it's a very pointless storyline. It literally could have been season 2. I don't know why they would rush that. So before I get to Wednesday herself and the actual plot of the actual show, let me get through some of the characters. There's Enid. She is bubbly, bright, has blonde hair, loves the color pink, loves like color, and it grosses that of Wednesday out. Those two are literally polar opposites. Enid is a werewolf, but she can't wolf out. She only has claws. And it turns out that her family is well, at least the mother is very disappointed in her because she can't wolf out and wants her to go to summer camp to teach her how to wolf out. Because of this, it causes a strain between that of Enid and her mother. This is parallel to that of Morticia and Wednesday, because Wednesday hates her mother. And there's another parallel to that of Bianca and her mother. So this is why I'm saying with these two, Bianca and Enid, it really seems like they want to make them the like main like two characters along with Wednesday. Because they do add assists, but they go off on their own little thing. Now, Enid holds so much resentment to that of her mom, and I think Wednesday can kind of see that. Well, her and Wednesday don't get along at first, but then they later start to be kumbaya with each other, not necessarily friends. And even Enid, she becomes really good friends with Thing. And so she will help Wednesday out. But the thing is that she really cares for her as a friend. A lot of people have interpreted this as these two are gonna like become lesbians later on. You know, two people of the same gender can be really close friends without dating. But people seem to forget that because both of those two are into guys and they don't really have no affection towards each other, just that of friendship. And so, one thing I like about Enid is that she calls Wednesday out on her BS. She tells like pretty much Wednesday straight up, you use people a lot. You're selfish. You don't care if people get hurt or killed. Only to like do whatever it is you want to do. And that's not what real friends do. Because Wednesday literally puts all her friends and schoolmates in literal danger and everything. And she doesn't have a problem with that until people call her out on that. Wednesday has a hard time understanding things like that because she's not used to having friends. It's something she despises. And so it causes those two to have a huge fight to where Enid literally moves out and goes stays with Yoko, a vampire. And the vampire Yoko gets no screen time. Like there's no development whatsoever. And so like, but you know, she keeps making excuses between like she left things in the room just so she can see Wednesday because she really misses Wednesday. She helps Wednesday come out of her shell, especially during the Pro Cup tournament and everything where they dress up as Catwoman of all things. But the thing about Enid is that sometimes she can be a bit cringy. She's so bubbly and everything, and she reminds people of somebody off the CW or like a Disney Channel show or a Nickelodeon show. She's very much like, you know, catered to that of a younger audience. Even having blonde hair, which the actress has brown hair, and then dyeing her tips. One side cotton candy blue and the other side cotton candy pink, reminiscent of that of Gwenpool and one of the Spider Gwens and also the new version of Harley Quinn for the HBO Max show. Now Enid has a couple of crushes and stuff. So she likes a guy named Ajax, who's a Gorgon. And she just like is insanely in love with this dude, right? And he just kind of doesn't understand that. And he's with like another girl. But she is, I think his name is Lucas Walker, who is the mayor's son. At some point in time, she goes on a date with him to like the dance, but then finds out that he hates Outcast because he's a normie. That relationship doesn't go like nowhere after that, and it was the most random thing for those two to date because he actually liked her, but it's like, well, when? Because he hates Outcast and everything. It's one of those rush storylines because they love to ship people in this show. Eventually, her and Ajax do get together, and at some point, when Wednesday is almost hurt by that of the monster, she finally wolfs out and she fights the monster in a big CGI goopity goop fashion because the CGI looks terrible. And what really brought on this transformation, not really sure. I know she knew Wednesday was in trouble and she's running in the woods and then she just wolfs out. Maybe it's like fear of her friend dying, but she's always scared and never wolfs out. Doing that for full moon, blood moon, whatever. Heck, maybe she does secretly love her. Heck if I know. Bianca is literally Wednesday's frenemy. She is a siren. They have clear eyes, and she looks so distracting with those clear eyes. Now, she is very fierce, very headstrong, and does not like competition. She used to date Xavier, but he dumped her and everything. She has to wear a necklace that controls her siren song, because they can control any man. There's another siren there that's her friend, but gets no screen time, really. And so she's literally just like, you know, a second antagonist to that of Wednesday. because she doesn't like the idea of Xavier checking Wednesday out, even to the point where those two fence and she cuts Wednesday's face. And so pretty much she's really quick with the comebacks and the clapbacks and stuff like that. Wednesday is really the only character she has a problem with. Everybody else she gets along with. And then ironically, she gets a backstory with her mother, just like that of Enid. Her mother is a scam artist, and her and the rest of the Sirens scam men for money. And so she told her mom she wants no part of this, blah, 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 blah. Well, at some point in a very odd situation, she starts to talk to that Mr. Gates' son. I think his name is Lucas, I believe. And it's weird because she helps him out because she realizes that the jewelry that he's wearing is part of the scam. So she tells him, you're part of the scam, don't give no money, don't do this, and he thanks her. And the way they interact seems like they kind of have like a thing for each other. Once again, it's weird for him because he doesn't like outcasts, and she doesn't like normies. But like I said before, this show loves the ship. And it's weird because he was into Enid at first, but now he seems like he's into Bianca. I don't get that. And so, like, during the dance and everything, she's with Xavier because he wants to make Wednesday jealous. But he gets jealous of her dancing with Tyler. So he wants her to use his siren song on him to make him forget. And she's all like, no, because that was the reason why he broke up with her to begin with. And now he wants her to use her powers so he won't have to feel brokenhearted. And so she's just pretty much like, screw you and everything. During the climax of the end of the series, she helps gets all the students to safety by doing her siren song on a lot of the males and stuff like that. Where she would be at in the second season, like what type would she be? Would she still be a friend of me? Would she be a full-on friend? Like who knows, Because when Wednesday was torturing a supposed normie, who they thought might have been an outcast, she was not for that. Her and the rest of the students wasn't for Wednesday like torturing people and stuff. So it shows that they do have some compassion towards other people and that of normies. She's also in that secret society. Eugene is a minor character. He's the only person who befriends Wednesday who doesn't hate her at first or doesn't try to date her. He has a huge crush on Enid. And he can control bees, so he's the only person in the bee club. When Wednesday is put there, they start to bond and become friends because first she started using him and stuff. He wants to help her out, even if it's like dangerous and stuff. So they're gonna go to the cave of where the monster lives at, but she decided to go to the dance. And it pissed him off to where he decided he's gonna go alone. He sees who sets the cave on fire. And next thing you know, he is attacked by the monster and he's pretty much out for the rest of the series. Until what is it? He wakes up and he tells Wednesday who he saw. And then during the climax and everything, he goes back to school and he sicks his bees on the person that's bad and everything. His mothers are the only LGBT representation in the show. The sheriff is the father of that of Tyler, and he hates Outcast with a passion, and he hates Gomez Adams, which causes conflict with that of Wednesday. And so, but ironically, him and Wednesday are working together to figure out who this monster is. And he's really sick and tired of Wednesday because she's always showing up when somebody dies and this and that. They have a very rocky relationship. Mrs. Kimbot is literally just a psychiatrist, and she works with the outcasts and normies to, be a psychiatrist. She's bubbly, she's happy, she has weird figurines and everything. She's played by Ricky. What is Ricky's last name? I forget. guy, Ricky Lindholm, I think it is, or something like that. And I remember her. I've seen her in so many things. She was in Another Period. She is a comedian who says the most like craziest, raunchiest Comedy Central type of stuff. So it's funny seeing her in this role because she will say some stuff and everything. And so basically, she tries to help Wednesday out and some of the other kids and everything, but Wednesday suspects that she might be a woman named Laura Gates. See, Crackstone has some descendants, and Laura Gates is one of them, but Laura Gates faked her death. And so it's revealed that when it comes to the monster is collecting body parts. And she likes to collect weird figurines of like dead looking animals. Not only that, but it turns out the monster is a hide and can be controlled by somebody. But who is that somebody? There's a red herring that makes people think she is Laura Gates. See, not only is the murder mystery, you have to figure out who the monster is, but now you gotta figure out who's controlling this monster. And at some point, it seems like she might be the person controlling. Even Wednesday accuses her. But when the real person finds that out and finds out some other stuff, like, cause like she's also counseling the person who is the monster, that person gets the monster to kill her. And it sucks because I wanted her to come back for the second season. Mrs. Weebs is the principal and she's a shapeshifter. When the student Roland went missing and died, she covered it up by pretending to be him. And her and Wednesday have a very rocky relationship, mainly because of her parents and everything. She was friends with Morticia, she was roommates with Morticia, and they both fell in love with the same guy. Morticia got Gomez and she didn't, so she held resentment for the longest time. And so she just wants Wednesday to be able to fit in and get along with the rest of the students. But Wednesday's gonna be Wednesday. She is a rebellious type person. So it causes major conflict between those two. She is also really good friends with that Mr. Walker and the mayor and everything. Basically, they work together to try to get normies and outcasts to get along with each other. Like she also helped funds his campaigns for him to get reelected and stuff like that. I thought for sure it was going to be revealed they was in a relationship, but it's not. She ends up dying by getting injected with some type of poison that the bad person is controls the high. I thought she might have been the high or the person controlling the high. A lot of people are pissed off that she's dead. I'm pissed off too. She's tall and leggy and gorgeous. And I really wanted her and Wednesday to get along more. I'm hoping since she's a shapeshifter, she just shapeshifted her mouth to make poison come out or foam bubbles and everything. The Walkers, the mayor and the son. The mayor is weird. He works alongside the sheriff to try to figure out who this monster is, this and that. And like I said before, he has a good relationship with Mrs. Reeves and everything because they want to bring normies and outcasts together. His son does not like outcasts, at least it appears. He has a group of friends and they're constantly picking on and making fun and trying to beat up that of the outcast. But then ironically, his son ends up liking a couple of the outcasts, which don't make no sense. It's like the writing is literally rushed. And so Mr. Walker ended up getting hit by the bad person controlling the high with the car because he figured out who the bad person is. Xavier is a kid at school who likes Wednesday, and he has the ability to make his drawings come to life. But they don't do nothing cool with that other than it's just like coming to life. You think he would use it similar to Teen Titans, that Tokyo movie, where the drawings come to life, but it doesn't. It's kind of like a one-sided crush. He likes Wednesday, and she doesn't really kind of like him. She likes Tyler. But she's always suspecting he might be the monster because at first the monster saved her. And it seemed like, he might be the monster because he's always around when people are dying and the monster attacks. And he kind of looks like the monster a little bit. But no, he's just a regular kid who literally gets framed and being the monster and arrested. Now, the actor who plays him, I've seen that dude in a lot of stuff. The show Between, which was a Netflix show that sucked. He was in The Gifted, that X-Men show on Fox that sucked. And so I've seen him since he's been little. And well, he got Me Too'd last year by some teenage girl online. And then other girls started accusing him of stuff. He says he's innocent. I have no idea if he is or not. But as of now, he's been written off the show. Whether or not they will reverse that, only time will tell. Mrs. Thornhill. Boy, I was so happy when they cast this actress to play her, Christina Ricci herself. The Wednesday Addams from the 90s, the Wednesday Addams everybody tries to emulate when they play Wednesday Addams. She is literally the blueprint for that of Wednesday Addams. Sadly, not the original Wednesday, Lorraine, I think that's her name, who sadly passed away last year. May she rest in peace. It's too bad she couldn't be in this show. Her version of Wednesday was just that of a little girl. But this version, the Christina Ricci one, is the blueprint. The monotone voice, the clapbacks, the sarcastic wit, the demented, like torturous type person. That Wednesday, everybody emulates and everything. And so she plays Mrs. Thornhill, a botanist. Originally, it was supposed to go to the Hocus Pocus actress, but she had to bow out. And I don't know why they wanted the Hocus Pocus actress. I mean, why not get the Wednesday everybody know and loves, you know what I'm saying? And they did. So because they had to insert her in at the last minute, she had to do a lot of green screen stuff to where she's mostly by herself and there's only a few people around and you don't really see her interacting with the main cast. She's a normie and everything, the only one that works there. And she's so nice and has feelings for that on Wednesday, always treats her nice. But it turns out she's the bad guy or bad girl. She is actually Laura Gates and everything, and Crackstone is her ancestor. So she is the one controlling the hive and collecting all these body parts. Now, the whole collecting the body parts, that storyline literally got dropped after it was first announced in the third episode. But then it gets brought back up in the last and everything. And it turns out in a very rushed storyline that she needs the body parts of random people to do a magic spell to resurrect her dead ancestor. Her ancestor that hates outcasts. Now here's where it gets all plot armory and everything. First things first, she needs Wednesday alive. That's why she never killed her and everything. Why? Because Wednesday's ancestor, Goody Addams, who looks just like Wednesday, pigtails and everything, but has blonde hair and wears a white dress. Goody was assumed to be a witch. But she just has visions and stuff. And so Crackstone wanted her dead, but she killed Crackstone. So the person who killed him, they need her ancestry blood. This is why Wednesday was alive for as long as she was, and why Thornstone never killed her. Problem is, Thornhill, I said Thornstone, whatever, Thornhill. Thornhill never knew Wednesday was gonna go to that of the academy. Wednesday only went because she got kicked out of her other school. So How the world was she gonna resurrect him without Adam's blood? Anyway, so she resurrects him and everything. He threatens to kill her if she doesn't stop like bossing around, stuff like that. And then when he is defeated, she tries to shoot Wednesday and everything. But then, what the bee do? Eugene sicks the bees on her. She's on the ground hollering and screaming until Wednesday decides she's gonna stomp at her face. We don't know if she survived this or not, but I would love for her to come back. And when I saw her in the show, it was kind of obvious she was kind of the bad guy because you only have a select few of people who could control the Hyde. And so I'm just like, okay, it had to be her. Why else cast her, you know? But I was hoping when she told Wednesday, we're alike, you and I. I was hoping that she would be Wednesday from a parallel dimension. I would have loved that. Thing. This version of Thing is played by a magician, similar to how the Thing was in the Addams Family 90s movie. This one has a different appearance. He's all stitched up and he has dirty fingernails. I love this appearance. And the CGI on him is really done well. Better than that of the movie. He moves around very fast in the movie. But here he moves around very naturally. And he's very sensitive and everything. When Wednesday starts to hurt his feelings, he wants nothing to do with her until she literally has to apologize to him. And he's really good friends with Enid. He even tries to hook Wednesday up with that of Tyler and get her to go to the dance and everything. Because he looks out for her. They're like buddies in this version. Where in other versions, he's pretty much just like a servant type thing who serves that of Gomez and Morticia, or he's always hanging out with Lurch. And so this one, just like the one from the movie, does ASL and everything. He also uses military hand lingo, and other times he just does his own little thing. And somehow people are always able to understand what he's saying. Now, Enid asks, where's the rest of him? And Wednesday replies, that is the great Adam's mystery. They don't know where the rest of his body's at, which is something I never really thought about. I just always thought of him as a severed hand who somehow is able to see and everything. And so he helps Wednesday out all throughout the season. He's basically like her sidekick. But when Mrs. Thornhill realizes, he's interfering and stuff and he has something that she needs, she beats the crap out of him and stabs him to where he basically dies, where Uncle Fester has to jumpstart him, even though he doesn't have a heart. But it was one of the saddest, touching scenes. I'm like, oh no, man, they really killed Thing. Like, no, man, like, how could they do this, man? He's Thing and everything. I don't understand how he would die anyway, because he's literally a severed hand who moves around. Uncle Fester is basically how he always is. He's wacky, he's silly, he loves to smile. In this version, he never gets blown up like he does in other versions. But just like in the other version, he has the ability to control electricity and everything. But in this version, he can literally just shoot lightning bolts from like his fingers. He is able to revive Thing. This one, for whatever reason, is a bank robber and stuff. And him and Thing used to like rob banks together and stuff. I don't know why they made him that way. And so basically he's helping Wednesday out and he just shows up at a random because the cops are looking for him. And so Wednesday just has him sleep out like somewhere out in like a shed. And it's just weird. Like, I don't understand why he's here because he doesn't fit with the rest of the story and everything. Crackstone. So he was a pilgrim from back in the day. And he thought Goody was a witch and tried to kill her. She killed him. Now, here's the thing. He hates outcasts. He hates magic. He is resurrected with magic. This is where the biggest plot hole comes into mind. The biggest error, because of the simple fact, shouldn't he be, I don't know, kind of pissed that, like, he was resurrected with dark magic? Not only that, But here's the thing that don't make no sense whatsoever. He has no magic when he was human, but when he gets resurrected, all of a sudden he's giving like a green staff. Where this green staff came from, nobody knows. But he literally uses it to conjure up magic and tries to kill the Nevermore students and stuff and blow things up. Shouldn't he be pissed about that? Because he hate magical things, and yet now he's a zombie, and now he has a magical staff, and he's using it. It's like the writers forgot their own continuity and everything. But anyways, he's defeated by Bianca and Wednesday. He fights Wednesday, Bianca stabs him, he knocks her out, and then Wednesday stabs him in the heart, and just like that, he's dead. It is so anti-unclimactic. No, just screw it. Just screw it. It was weak. It was weak. It was weak. It was a weak plot. It was a weak fight. It was a weak kill. They could have done so much better with that. So, since I got through all the main people, there are only two more characters left. So you can probably guess who the monster is. Oh no, wait, I forgot about a third character. Rowan. Rowan is a telekinetic. And so he uses telekinesis to just move things with his mind. Now, he's a normal student, like an outcast and everything, but he tries to kill Wednesday in the first episode. This really, like the whole first episode got me hooked anyway, but that really got me hooked. And so it's like, why is he trying to kill her? Well, he tells her his mom was a psychic and she had a vision of a girl in pigtails who's going to destroy Nevermore. And so she told him, kill this person and everything. And that's what he does until the monster kills him, saving Wednesday. And so because of this, she tries to figure out what's going on and who wants her dead. And who, of course, is this monster. Now, of course, the girl in pigtails, well, actually, it was Wednesday and everything. At first I was thinking Goody, but now it's Wednesday. So, Tyler is the monster. Now, see, here's the thing about Tyler. We assumed he was a normie. He was the love interest of that of Wednesday. She saw him and he needed help with the espresso machine. Was it espresso machine or was it the coffee maker? One of those two. And she becomes smitten by him. He becomes smitten with her. He's your stereotypical teen drama love interest. Fair hair, nice guy, tries to act perfect, accepts people for who they are. He knows she's an outcast. He does not care. And she starts to have feelings for him, even though she says she would never want to date nobody. Now, the thing is like, it turns out in the past, he was mean to outcasts and everything. This is why Xavier does not like him. But then he said he was a different person at that time and he's much better. He does everything in his power to, make Wednesday fall in love with him. He is literally Prince Charming and everything. Until it's revealed he is the Hyde. He had no idea. His mom wasn't Hyde. So that blood got passed on to him, and the dad found out when he did an analysis on the tooth. And so the dad knew the entire time, but kept trying to blame it on other people. And so it turns out a Hyde can be controlled. So it's not like he's really a bad guy. It's Mrs. Thornhill who's making him do all this evil, bad stuff and making him be mean to people. And so Wednesday wanted him to basically monster out. So she started torturing him and stuff. This causes the other students to be all like, you know what? We ain't doing this. We ain't gonna torture nobody. And so, he tries to attack Wednesday, and this is when Edith shows up, and those two fight, only for her, Tyler's dad to come in and shoot Tyler, wounding him, but not killing. And at the end, when he's in the ambulance, all shackled up, he starts to monster out. It was pretty obvious after a while he was the monster. I mean, Xavier was like a red herring. And it's kind of like, yeah, so who is it going to be? The love interest that she likes a lot? I bet it is. And then it turned out to be. Now, Wednesday, played by Jenna Ortega. My God, like I said before, I can't say like nothing bad about her. She was perfect in this role. She really emulated what Christina Ricci brought, but then elevated it. And you know what? I'm gonna say something blasphemy, but she's probably a better Wednesday than that of Christina. Don't get me wrong. Christina is the architect. She is the blueprint. She was amazing in that role. It's because of Christina I like Wednesday. But everything that Christina brought, like I said before, Jenna improved upon and elevated for more of a modern audience and really made it that of her own while keeping that of what made Christina Wednesday Wednesday. You know, this is what you do. You improve on the original and improve that she did. This Wednesday is more dry wit. She's more monotone. She doesn't blink. She constantly stares at you with those big, beautiful eyes and everything. And like, she has this really eerie, creepy goth vibe to her. Like, it's to the point where you don't know if she's gonna hurt you or not. The whole torture aspect is still with her. The whole her torturing Pugsley is still there. See, this version does not hate Pugsley. The Christina one hated Pugsley and wanted to be an only child and literally tried to kill him. This version will torture him, but she does it out of love. And she doesn't want nobody, and I mean nobody, to torture Pugsley. She also loves her father a lot, so much that she emulates him. The fencing, the fighting skill. This is a different take because normally she emulates that of Morticia in other versions, and even dressing like Morticia. But this version of Wednesday hates Morticia because she feels like Morticia is trying to make her into, well, her and everything. And she does not want that. And so she is very cold hearted towards her mom. And their relationship never really gets any better. It never gets resolved, really. And this version of Wednesday is a novelist. She writes a novel. And when she tries to submit her stuff that's too dark and edgy and people reject it, she sends them torturous gifts like rat traps and everything. She used to have a pet lizard, but no, not a lizard, a pet scorpion. But the kids, like, stomped on it. This what kind of helped her become dark and edgy and stuff like that. This version also does not have no friends. So when she comes to Nevermore, the idea of making friends is like beneath her, as well as dating. She doesn't want to date. But then she ends up falling for that of like Tyler and stuff. Which is weird because she literally says she doesn't want to date. But a lot of people do that. They say they don't want to do something, but then they end up doing it anyways. And so because she doesn't have any friends and don't want it, she is socially awkward. See, when it comes to Adam's family, they are outcasts. And people look down on them and sometimes are scared of them. They think they're normal and everybody else are outcasts and bizarre and weird. They are literally a family set in the old times. They don't even have a TV or nothing like that. Here, she's among outcasts, but she is the outcast because she's so dark and goth. And I'm so glad they gave her a black uniform instead of that purple. I did not want to see her in purple. Like I said before, it would have been nice to see her in her traditional dress a lot more, but at least they kept her in clothes and her same color scheme. And so this Wednesday will literally use people a lot, and I mean a lot, just to figure out who this monster is. She wants to solve this case. And so she literally puts so many people in harm's way to where it causes problems with these other people. That and her constantly accusing people of being a monster. She's near perfect, but she has flaws. And thank God, because she would have just been a Mary Sue. And so, like, she's pretty much great at everything, playing music, fencing, fighting, stopping her heart to where it looks like she's dead. But she has that macabre gothness to her. When she's in the morgue in a little ice box, she wants to stay in there for 5 more minutes. Also, she's really good at the clapbacks and everything. Like, she does it a lot. Like, she's always hitting people with one-liners and stuff. More so than Christina. It does get a bit irritating. She also narrates in every episode. Not only that, but it's revealed how she got her name because of that nursery rhyme thing that Charles Adams came up with back in the day. Monday's name, I think it's called, where Wednesday is something the woe of a child or something like that. This is why every episode is titled with the word woe and everything. And so, like, she solves her father's criminal murder thing, and she gets closer and closer to finding out who this monster is. She has a soft spot in her heart for Eugene because he's the only person who didn't hate her when he first met her. And she sees that he's just like Pugsley. He gets picked on and everything, and she wants to protect him. She later becomes best friend with that of Enid, and when Enid leaves to go live with the other girl, Yoko, whatever her name is, it really hurts her, but she doesn't know how to express it, and she pretends like she does not care. Now, originally, she was going to get herself expelled from Nevermore by doing something so outrageous. But when Rowan tries to kill her, she realizes she needs to stay because she wants to know why she's in this drawing. But then when she does get expelled, she doesn't want to because she has literally made bonds at the school. Now, it is true. Like, she is the one who's going to destroy the school because, of course, if her blood interacts with that altar and everything, it will bring forth that of Crackstone and everything. Now, what's really interesting is a callback to the 90s movie. Wednesday has always hated like colonial America, pilgrims and this and that. This was shown in the second movie. And here she pretty much like insults the colonial America in German. That's something Jenna had to learn. And she burnt the statue of Crackstone and everything. Now, when it comes to that of Goody Adams, it's never revealed why she looks exactly like Wednesday. But it's really funny because, okay, when Crackstone came back, he stabbed Wednesday, twisted the blade so the wound won't heal. She's basically dying. And she literally tells Goody, "Are your spectral eyes like impaired? I'm dying. I can't help you stop him and everything." And this is the part where plot armor comes in that's really stupid. Somehow, the necklace that Wednesday wears gives Goody the ability to touch living matter and also, like, take over Wednesday's body, giving her her life force back. I don't know how this is completely rushed. Like I said before, the 8th episode, I don't know why they rushed it so much. So Goody pulls the knife out, goes inside Wednesday, she gets her life back, and she has the ability to regenerate. And she stops that of Crackstone. Now, this version of Wednesday is giving psychic abilities. She can either see tragic things in the past or see things in the future about to happen, like moments as it's about to happen. Her mom is like this, Goody is like this. Her mom can kind of control it, but not really, but Goody can. And it turns out that her mom only has good visions because something about she's a dove. Because, you know, Morticia is a very sweet, kind-hearted woman. Just like Gomez is a sweet, kind-hearted man. This version of Gomez, like I said before, I forgot to mention, they don't have his charismaticness, his exuberance and everything, his like playfulness and stuff. But Wednesday's like a raven and she's very dark. So she only gets dark visions and stuff. I do like when she gets her psychic vision because her head literally goes up in the air and she gives that really cool stare. And so, like, towards the end, when everything's all saved and all this other stuff, Xavier gives her a phone because she hates technology. She doesn't want to be a slave to the man. And so, like, he gives her a phone, and somebody texts her, I'm watching you and everything, because somebody has been taking pictures of her. And she assumed it was Thornhill, but now we know it's not. So somebody is stalking her. Who that person is, don't know. But like I said before, Tyler literally monstered out towards the end. Personally, I don't want this storyline to go forward in the second season. They should have just had the Gomez murder thing and, criminal murder thing. But they didn't. So now we're going to have Tyler monstering out again. And now we got to figure out who the heck has been spying on her this entire time. And this person is literally taking pictures of her where she's everywhere. The school, the coffee house, the town. So who the heck is keeping tabs on her? Nobody knows. So this show, yes, is awesome. It is amazing. It has its flaws, but it's really, really good. I hope they fix those flaws in the next season. And I hope they have more than just 8 episodes. Because 8 episodes is not enough when they try to flesh out Wednesday and also all these other characters. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.